What's up, guys? It's RGT. No, this is not a clickbait video, but this is actually one of those kind of life and health update videos. It's been a little while since I've done one. I know you guys have a lot of questions. If you don't care about the man behind the channel and what's going on in my life and what's going on as far as health updates are concerned, I completely understand. Don't feel bad. I just don't want you to waste your time. If you could leave a like on the way out, though, I would appreciate it. But I figured I should update you guys on what's going on. Yes, I am nervous about something that's happening this upcoming week. We'll talk about that in just a little minute. But I just kind of wanted to vent, give you guys an update and tell you guys, for those of you who do care, what's kind of happening. I know you've been seeing this a lot in my hands. It is a piece of plastic, kind of replicates a cigarette that just tastes minty. There's nothing to it. It's kind of like, when you smoke for 20 years, you kind of get an oral fixation, pause, but you like to have, something in your hand, something to tinker around with, and that just really helps me a lot. I still have not had a cigarette since January, so that's super good. So health-wise, obviously, you kind of got to break it down into physical and mental. Physical has been actually pretty decent. I know I had been getting sick the past couple of Saturdays, actually, but I think I figured out what it is. I think it's just I can't eat late at night anymore. I used to eat whatever, whenever, and it seemed like, when I'm up playing Call of Duty late with Spawn Wave and MVG and Nate and stuff, and I'm snacking on stuff, and I go to bed, I guess it doesn't digest or something, and I get sick because, I've noticed that that's kind of the correlation because I've been avoiding eating late at night and I have not been sick. I've also been taking an enzyme for digestion and a probiotic. So, a lot of cool, fancy stuff there. Blood pressure. So since we've last talked, they increased one of my blood pressure medicines to a higher dosage because they didn't like kind of where the blood pressure was sitting. And since then, my blood pressure has been excellent. I'm talking under 120/80, which is considered the standard, very good. I'm getting 115/70s, 110/70 sometimes. So that seems to be doing the trick. And I've been feeling better. It's been a couple weeks since I've changed my dose to the higher dose, and I've definitely been feeling a lot better and a little bit more, pep in my step, which is kind of weird because, I don't think the two things have anything to do with each other, but, maybe psychologically it does. Heart rate, once again, that's under control. I haven't had my beating chest situation, and it kind of translates into the mental health too, because when I get anxious and I feel like maybe a panic attack is coming, my heart would always kind of beat hard and fast, and it was pause again, it was yo, that's kind of one of the signs. But my heart rate has definitely been much more under control. Your heart rate's supposed to be between 60 and 100. Mine was way higher than that. Now it's between, depending on what I'm doing, 70 to 90 or something like that. So and then it increases when I work out. I've been working out, trying to do this, that, and the other, stay a little more active and stuff. So it's all been good. So then what am I nervous about? Well, this upcoming week on Thursday, I believe it is, the 20th, I have a heart ultrasound coming up. And essentially what that is they're going to look at my heart and they're going to see if it's repairing. And, if it's not repairing, then, that's kind of a problem. On one hand, I do feel like everything will be all right because of the fact that, blood pressure's been under control, heart rate's been under control. I'm not showing signs of heart damage, quite as much as I probably was beforehand. So I do feel like things have been improving, but without actually, seeing that and seeing the improvement, there is that kind of worry that happens in the back of your mind. It's well, what if things aren't getting better? Then they're going to have to do some other stuff and put stents in there and stuff like that. And that's obviously something I don't want to do. I don't want to do that. But, I am worried about it. I'm worried about the whole thing, getting the results and all that sort of stuff. But, this kind of shifts into the mental game because I've always been the kind of person where it's I've always expected the worst. Expect the worst, and then when something good happens, you get pleasantly surprised. But I realize that I thought I was in control of that thinking process and I could apply it to situations where it needed to be applied to, but I wasn't. It was something that I was actually doing for literally every situation in life, even the most, minute tasks, even the most minute things in the world. I was always assuming the worst thing was going to happen, and I wasn't getting that pleasant surprise when it didn't happen, because it was like I would make up an excuse for it, and it kind of overcame me and everything I was about. I've got the doc. I know there's like two different types of mental health doctors. There's the person that writes the pills, and then there's the person that you talk to. You talk to the person who writes the pills, and sometimes that's all you do. But then you have the additional person who you just talk to. And like, I've always done the pill doctor thing, but I haven't done the talk to doctor since I was 19. I felt like I didn't need it. I felt like, I was good. And it's amazing just how much, she'll talk about something and ask me questions, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, this has nothing to do with anything. Like, but she'll bring it all back full circle, and just how I view things in a very black and white manner, and I don't allow for a lot of middle ground. And that kind of translates into the anxiety. That kind of translates into the panic, because I'm always assuming the worst. I'm not allowing there to be any sort of middle ground. And if there's a little symptom, there's a little feeling of something overwhelming happening, like it's like, okay, well, this is the worst thing. And it's like, no, there's that middle ground. There's that balance. So she has been I've been talking to her once a week, and she has been extremely helpful. And I really feel like this past week was probably one of my best weeks physically and mentally in a very long time. Even before the health scare, like way before the health scare, like I feel like this past week was just a great week. Like, I wasn't thinking in, absolute worst situations. I wasn't thinking in this black and white manner. I was allowing for more of a middle ground, and it just made everything much easier. I was more active. My days were more fulfilling, and I had a better attitude about stuff. Instead of, like I said, instead of always expecting the worst, I wasn't doing that. I was expecting, things just to be. Don't put a super positive or a super negative mantra into something. Just accept it as it is, and then adjust to the situation as you need to be. I know I'm trying to sound like a freaking Zen master here, but it's been a very enlightening few months for me. And once again, I have no regrets. People say, oh, don't you regret smoking cigarettes? Don't you regret eating bacon? No, I don't. Because I believe in the butterfly effect. Everything that's happened in life has brought me to this point. And, if I was a healthy person, who knows what my trajectory would have been. Maybe I would be, broke or homeless, but at least I'd be healthy. It's like, I'm very happy with everything. And I'm getting happier with other things that I used to always kind of view as negatives or always expect the worst out of. Now I'm more open. I'm more receptive, and I'm more, I guess, accepting of these things. And I know a lot of you guys are like, what's the point of this video? What's the point of this conversation? It's just kind of like, this might connect with someone, because, this might connect on a deeper level with someone. Maybe somebody who's going through a physical thing, will realize, hey, I should probably go to a doctor and just make sure everything's okay. Maybe somebody who's going through a mental thing will realize, hey, I could kind of relate to that. I am who I am. I have health problems. I have mental health problems. I go to doctors. I pay money to doctors all the time. Like, it is what it is, man. You got to take care of yourself. The world is crazy. We're all in this together. When you look at the 50s and 60s, people are like, oh, well, men were different then. Now I'm just getting completely off track. Men were different off then. Men were men, blah, blah, blah. Men were working their jobs and coming home and getting drunk and trying not to beat their wives and, dying of heart attacks at 55 because of all the stress that they were under, but they weren't allowed to sort of, showcase emotion beyond being the strong individual and stuff like that. Things change, and things change for the better. So, yeah. So I'm nervous. I'm nervous about this heart ultrasound, but I think everything's going to be all right. And whatever, man, whatever happens with it, we'll take it, and we'll move on. I would assume that things are going to look better The blood pressure's been looking great. The heart rate is looking great. I'm feeling good. I'm looking good. Like, look at me. Damn. So I think everything's going to be good, but you know, we'll look at it. We'll accept it. We'll take it for what it is. And then we'll move on to the next thing, man. Whatever's got to be done's got to be done. Cause I still got more life to live. They've tried to kill me a couple times now. It ain't worked. It ain't worked. Teflon Don. Go Knicks. The Knicks are playing in a couple hours. I didn't want to film this after the Knicks game because I was like, wow, I could be in a really, really depressed mood if they get their asses kicked or something like that. So let me film this beforehand. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a great Sunday. Have a great rest of the week. There's going to be videos. Yes, the mini PC review is coming. Don't worry. I've just been doing stuff and buying other stuff. It's been a very hectic week. It's coming, though. I love you guys. I'll see you soon. Later.